This is Fàtima Boix. I'm glad to have this interview, and we're going to talk a little bit about E-flat clarinet stuff. I started by coincidence a little bit with the instrument. I got an instrument from a friend, and we had a clarinet quartet in my conservatory in Spain, and I ended up playing the E-flat clarinet in this quartet, and we played some competitions, and then I started to practice a little bit orchestral repertoire. And also a teacher of mine, he said, like, this instrument suits you very well. That was back in 2007. So that's a little bit how it started. What is more challenging about E-flat clarinet? I mean, there are many things, but I would say it's hard to play. Let's say this is a very wild instrument, and it's hard to tame because it's very high, for example. And also, intonation-wise, it's complicated. It depends on the instrument a lot, and mouthpiece and everything, but I would say that also the sound, the color of the sound makes you very much heard, very easily heard. So you have to be very careful, and basically everything you do on the clarinet, on E-flat clarinet, you have to be extra sure and extra careful. Let's say it's a bit harder to control. It needs some extra effort in some sense. What's the difference between playing in the orchestra or playing solo? Well, I think it's about blending. So basically in the orchestra, depends on the piece, but you either are very exposed, very alone, or you have to blend, for example, a lot with violin section. So I think it's more about color blend, or also adding color on top of the orchestra. And when you play solo, for example, if you play with piano or chamber music or just solo piece, then you just have to blend in a different way because you play with a piano, which is totally different sound. It's more about adapting, and also you can use a bit different materials like reeds or mouthpieces or ligatures to give some extra stuff there. I recommend playing definitely more than just excerpts, because you don't get the control on an instrument by just playing a few lines of some pieces. I think that you have to play as much as you can, basically. So something I would recommend to a beginner is to play anything, etudes, pieces, improvisations, duets, and also practice alone very carefully, listening to intonation with a tuner, and work on the sound. Try to play very pianos also, and also go to forte and try to play that beautifully, and work on colors, this instrument has a potential to have lots of different, like very extreme colors, from very like aggressive sound or like sharp sounds to also, you should also like force yourself to go to the very smooth and beautiful sound. So if the bigger range you have, more possibilities, and then the more pieces you will be able to play. Because we need all the spectrum for different music we have to play, from super extreme, like till screaming sounds, to also very beautiful singing, like, I don't know, Aires Sicilianos piece, which is for E-flat and piano, for example. There are many pieces I love, both in orchestra and chamber music, but maybe like first thing that comes to my mind is a piece by my friend Timo Hietala, The Snow in Amazonia Quintet, which is for E-flat clarinet and string quartet. It's really fun to play, and you can show different things, and it has all the, very beautiful and also dancing and lots of moods there. It's really fun. I am also in the process of writing some music for E-flat clarinet and electronics, for example, and one of them will be published, open to listen soon, but more to come. About the role of piccolo clarinet, it's as big as you can imagine, basically. So there is a tradition, but then we have to go further than that, because any instrument has potential to do lots of things. So why not jazz, for example, or free improvisation, or music with electroacoustic music, or anything that you can imagine it's possible with piccolo clarinet. But just like any instrument, you just have to be consistent, practice and patience, and gain control over it. But then you can do anything. One funny story or anecdote about piccolo clarinet life would be, for me, that my instrument cracked during the general rehearsal of the premiere of the Caleviajos concerto for E-flat clarinet and orchestra. And I just noticed when I finished the general rehearsal on the day of the concert that there is this crack. And luckily it wasn't too deep, so it still worked and it was fine, but quite stressing.